Hello, I'm David Godwin, and you're welcome to my channel. If you're watching me for the first time, I'll have you know that here we discuss things we learned in church concerning Christ and how we put them to practice, and then we share results that we get from practicing what we learned in church. You know that one of the major reasons we go to church is to learn the character of Christ, whether it is through the word ministration, through choir ministration, opening prayer. You know, God always speaks to us, all right? And it's our responsibility to pay attention and then listen to what God is saying. Today, I'm going to be sharing with us what I learned on Thursday. We had relationship power bank, and it was mind blowing. Like, we learned a lot of vital lessons, especially from the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. Please, I beg you, pay attention, because you're going to learn something very vital, something that will change your life. Before we go into what I learned on Thursday, that's at the Relationship Power Bank, which held online on our church platform, the Healthy Church, I would like to briefly talk about what the Relationship Power Bank is all about. Relationship Power Bank at the Healthy Church is for those who are in a relationship, that's a relationship that is leading to marriage, or those who intend to be in a relationship. So God's plan and will for us is that we have a healthy relationship. And for us to have a healthy relationship, we need the wisdom of God. And don't forget that God is the author of relationship. And in order to succeed in your relationship or in your marriage, you need the wisdom of God. You need the template of God. All right, let's go straight to what I learned from the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. And we'll see how we can apply them to our lives. What I learned from Jacob, Leah, and Rachel's story is the right questions were not asked. According to Genesis 29, Jacob saw Rachel for the first time and fell in love with her. The next thing we are seeing is Jacob is telling Laban that, look, I'm going to work for you for 7 years just to get married to your daughter Rachel. And in the scripture, there's nowhere in the scripture that says that according to Laban's culture, a man is to work for 7 years to get married to a woman in their land. All right. Now, Jacob was the one who walked up to Laban and said, look, I'm going to work for 7 years. Okay, I like your daughter. I love your daughter. I'm going to work for 7 years for her. Now, Jacob did not ask, how do you do things in your culture? Okay, so what and what is required of me, or what am I to give, and all of that. Now, the same thing happens in our generation. Many of us don't ask the right question, especially when it comes to a relationship that leads to marriage. One of the important things about relationship is getting to know the person you're dealing with, especially the person who you want to get married to. Now, I'm going to share my own personal experience. 2 years ago, I met someone, and we got talking, we got knowing more about ourselves. And at some point, when I realized that, okay, I really have interest in this person, I started asking questions, okay? And I got to discover that according to the person's culture, the man that is to get married to her, or if you want to get married to anybody from their place, as a man, you must have a piece of land. Like, when we say piece of land, we're not just talking about a small, like, you must have a reasonable piece of land. And that is their culture. I was shocked when I heard that. Okay, so imagine I did not get to know about that. I just, after all my heart has gone into the relationship, and I start discovering things like that. And what happened to Jacob is still happening in our generation. There are some cultures in our generation that demands that the first child must get married before any other person in the family. There are many, they are just, it's still happening in our time, all right? And we just have to be careful, because imagine you investing, putting on investment in a relationship, and when it's time for you to get married, you now realize that, oh, the elder sister has not gotten married, and we now start trying to see how we can convince the elder sister to get married, or just try to look for what to do. And while you're doing that, time is going. And so what if the elder sister decides not to get married? So Jacob walked and walked and walked for 7 years. At the end of the day, he didn't get what he ordered for. All right, he had to work for another 7 years to get Rachel. So what am I going to do with this information? I've decided to continue to ask questions. Now, the kind of questions I'll be asking now will be very, very intelligent, because deep questions. That's what I'm going to be asking. For example, I'm going to ask about health history of your family. Now, me asking this question is not to shame the person I want to be with, but then it's just to understand what I am getting into. All right, so we know how to approach the situation. Okay, what I'll tell me about your health history. Has anybody suffered diabetes in your family? Maybe your great grandfather or something. Now, we're asking these questions to just, like I said, just to have a glimpse or understanding of what you're getting into. Right, so we know how, so that in fact, one of the major reasons we should ask this question is so that we can begin to address things on time. All right, so what's the culture? How do people do things in your place? What's the tradition like? So that we know who and who to start talking to. What's your dad's perspective about this and this and this and that? So as a young person, please ask questions, ask intelligent questions. It will really help you in your relationship. Get to know the person. Questions like, how often do you have your bath? There are people there are people who have their bath once in a day. All right, like I said, the essence of asking is to know this person. I'm talking about the person you want to get married to. How often do you brush your teeth? Do you brush your teeth once in a day, or twice in a day, or thrice in a day? Okay, how often do you have your bath? Do you have your bath once in a day, or twice in a day, or thrice in a day? Now, these questions may seem funny, but they are actually important questions that should not be ignored. Okay, and then there is one vital question that should be asked. It is very important to ask the person you want to get married to. Are you owing anybody? All right. Is there any debt that you have not cleared? How many people are you owing? All right. The essence of asking this question is so that you will know. When you get married to somebody, you now start hearing news that, oh, I'm owing this person, I'm owing this one, I'm owing this one. From one issue to another issue. You see, this question I just asked now is very important, especially if you stay in a place like. You see, this question I just asked is very important too. Very important. Things are happening in this our generation. All right, so you're not going to get married to someone and what money is hearing that the person is owing 5 million, he's owing this one 3 million, he's owing that one 4 million, and the peace that you are to enjoy in that marriage, you will no more enjoy that peace until that debt is cleared. All right, and then what if the person is someone who his first reaction or his first approach to financial lack is to borrow, or whenever he encounters issues that is something needs to be sorted out financially, and the first thing he thinks of is to borrow, that is already a red flag. You just know that with this kind of person, there will be a lot of issues. All right, I believe you have learned something from this video. Okay, I really appreciate it if you share your own experience. Have you experienced something like this before? Like as a result of not asking questions, you discovered this, or as a result of asking questions, you discovered something and it helped your relationship. So please leave comments. If you have any questions, please do well to ask, and I trust God that they will be answered. All right, thank you for watching. God bless you. It's not nervousness.